Welcome to our Hollywood. I'm Kim.
I'm Daniel. Guys, we sound so smart today. We just recorded the episode and I was like, oh my God,
Now you have to make TikTok clips. You have no excuse.
Yeah.
Because we actually sound really smart.
No, we literally do. Why do I look like that? Anyways, so today's episode is the racism of reality TV. Well, also I think it's because we've been wanting to talk about this topic for so long that the thoughts have been fermenting for like 2 years.
Not fermenting.
I don't know if that's the right word. Or like a year. I don't know when did we start? Like a year ago?
Only a year ago. Like we're about to hit our 1 year. Like I think
we're
next
not
week.
Us being the boys.
Oh my God, wait. When was our first upload? I think it's literally almost been a year. I think like we uploaded the first week of September. Not me typing it on. Not me being exposed for being a low-key Swiftie.
Yeah. The first time that came up was our song.
September.
Oh my God, it's coming. Does it say the exact date?
I think it does on Anchor.
Wait. We could just see what the following week was.
It's September.
Oh, it says the same thing?
Yeah.
Guys, our first year, should we have a party?
September 7th, 2020.
No, that's literally
in a week. 2 weeks. Oh, 3 weeks. Oh my God. Hello? I have no concept of time.
2 weeks.
Wow, how fun.
I wouldn't have known if you hadn't said anything. Or like I would have seen like a Snapchat memory and be like, oh, okay, we have to do something. I don't know what. We'll figure it out. But yeah.
Can we get a cake or something?
Yes.
Aww. Like a buttlet from nothing but
what?
a buttlet. Like it's like a tiny cake.
Oh my God.
I don't think I can stomach a whole cake.
It's okay. We'll do a red carpet for all that glitters. Actually, okay. So speaking of what we watched this week.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that.
So that's what we watched this week is gonna be. So yes.
Didn't you want to talk about something?
American Horror Stories, but I already talked about it.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yesterday after we recorded the podcast,
because we're doing back to back. This is
we're doing 3 this week.
Yeah, 4 in a 1 week because Sunday we're doing it. Oh my God, that's so many. We're gonna be ahead of schedule.
Yeah, we are.
Nice. I kind of like that.
I'm taking like a week off for the birthday.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, guys.
Bonus episode. Bonus YouTube video.
Okay. The vlog.
We gotta think about it now.
Yeah, no, this is so good. No, like we literally found out live, guys. Like that's why we're so frazzled right now. But anyway, so yesterday we started watching the clips for our short film that we started. Okay, we were watching them, and one of the what is that thing called? Oh my God, my brain is like.
The clapboard.
Is that really the name? I thought I made that up.
I think it's clapboard.
Okay, well the clapper or whatever that thing is. I don't care.
I'm sure there's a technical name to it.
Went to film school. Don't remember that. We were watching one of the scenes and it said like November 2019. And I was like, it's been almost 2 years since we filmed this. And like also there'll be like bits and like we're not in it, but we're in the footage obviously because we were there, but we're not in the movie. Well, me in 5 seconds in a dinner scene.
We look like different people.
It's like we look like children.
We were. We were.
Yeah, no, but also it's so funny because like there's this one part, they're in the dinner scene. And they have like they're supposed to be drinking wine, but like we back then we had no concept of like I don't know like alcohol. I don't know, but we filled their glasses to the brim with like cranberry juice. It was just like
I think that was all me, to be honest. I think I'm the one that poured it.
But I wouldn't have said anything. Like I would have been.
I don't think you were there on that day.
I wasn't, but I wouldn't have noticed. I would have been like, yeah, that looks.
No one noticed. There was probably 10 people there, and no one said.
No one said like, hey, that doesn't look accurate to wine.
We didn't have it in the correct glasses.
No, but it was fun. It was
a student film.
Yeah, and it honestly looks so much better than what I thought it was.
Oh my God, I like the way Daniel built it up. Like I thought I was gonna be walking into like
because
a shitstorm.
Okay, so I had only seen I was only looking at bits and pieces of them, and the ones I had seen were like the worst ones. Like I don't know how I managed to stumble upon the ones where like things were in the shot. Like I only saw those. And then like I sectioned it off by scenes and like by the folders they were in because they're all over the place. It's a whole story, whatever, it doesn't matter. But they were like all over the place, scattered. So I was like, we need to look at this scene by scene. I'm just gonna organize this the way that my brain can do it.
I literally thought it was gonna take multiple days. Me too. Like I thought it was gonna be like a mission.
Yeah, and like I was like starving, and I was like, okay, we need to go eat, but let me see how much we have left. And it was like 2 scenes, and I was like, oh my God, we're gonna.
It only took us like an hour and a half to like get there.
Yeah, really. Yeah. We don't have all the footage. That was only like half of the footage, honestly. Like we're still missing a big chunk of it, but we're getting that like soon. Mm-hmm. But I can like at least I can start on something. Like I have a good chunk of footage to go off of, and I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, honestly,
I'm so excited.
I'm glad I'm looking at it with my viewpoint now because if I was doing this like back to back, like in that moment when we were supposed to get it done in 2020, I probably would have been like shitting myself.
I also think like the stakes are so much higher because of like the student film festival that like the school did, and like
it was like my first and like my first year directing, and like because I had really bad social anxiety. I still have social anxiety, but I've gotten better at it. But that's the reason why I didn't feel like quote unquote good enough to like be a director, and like I was just scared, frankly. And so that was my first time and like my only time I could submit for the film festival, and it meant a lot to me. It still means a lot to me, but like sometimes you just gotta let go.
Would they still let you like not posthumous, like after like you graduated?
They were initially, because we thought we were going to go back in the fall, and we thought a lot of things. But I don't know, maybe I'll have to text my old professor.
We'll see. Well, I think honestly, we're in August.
I am competitive, so it's just like I really wanted to place.
Oh, right.
I just felt really good about it, and I really felt like we were going to place.
Right. Yeah, I did too. It looked, and then just like seeing like how much thought everyone was putting into it, like from the costume designers to the actors to like the makeup, like Marilyn was putting, like everyone was really like putting so much thought, well, almost everyone was putting so much thought and love into it that I was like, it has to be good.
Yeah.
And then for like the longest times, I was like, it was just so hard to get the.
I literally would not let that ship sink.
No.
If nobody got me, I got me.
I really forgot it. Like I truly left my brain.
I kept on reminding Daniel, and I didn't want to be fucking annoying about it.
No, but I forgot. Like I literally, I don't have remember.
No, literally, I remember like I let it go for like 2 months because like you were finishing school. I was like, I'm just not going to mention it at all because like he needs to finish school and it's fine. And then I remember once you finished school, I gave you like a couple weeks, and then I was like, no,
like 2 weeks ago we finished recording, and then Kim is like walking out, like literally halfway out the door, and I'm like about to close it, and she's like, are we ever gonna finish All That Glitters? And I was like,
I was like so mousy about it too. I was just like,
no, yeah, you were definitely building up the courage to say that the entire time, and I was like, I literally forgot about it. And then literally like the next day I was like, okay, let's
because I just have like a built-in fear of being annoying because somebody in middle school and my school told me I was annoying, and it's just always been a fear of mine. I am pushy, like I am, like that's just how I am. But it's because like it is my baby at the end of the day, and I want to get it done because I want to prove to myself that I can.
And it's like as soon as
a lot of people worked on it. Everybody that acted in it, everyone deserves to see it. And people ask me about it, and I'm just like.
My parents, because like literally the reason I got my car was like it was my dad's car. The reason I got to take it to LA was because I was like, I want to really make this short film. Like I would have to go to like Thousand Oaks, like
that's really
every
sweet
now
of
and
them
then.
that they let you do that.
And now it's just like kind of my obviously my parents use it whenever they need to, but it's just kind of my car now. But yeah, I was like, they always ask me like, oh, what about the film? And I was like, girlies, I don't know.
TBD.
Yeah, but I know I do think I have faith that it will come out this year.
Yeah. It will.
It will, because
it is going to.
I thought we had so much less than we actually had. And when looking at it, I was like, we have a good, like, I want to say like 60% of it. And there's a couple of things like, I think, for the longest time, what was keeping us from filming or like from finishing was the fact that we had a scene missing. And I had to rewrite it once, then I had to rewrite it again. Like one of the biggest scenes. And so I had to rewrite it. And then that one we just couldn't get that one done, that version of the scene. So I had to rewrite it again completely differently. But I really like what.
I think I like it better. Well, I'm making TikToks about the process.
I thought you were going to say merch. I truly thought merch was going to come out of your mouth.
TikToks about the process.
Yeah.
So, because like people that follow me on TikTok also like know like film and stuff. A lot of people follow me from that because at one point I did talk about it more than I do now. And I was like, well, if we're going to do this, like, I want to like document the process.
Yeah. Kim making me act yesterday for the TikTok.
Yeah, literally.
She was like, okay, sit right there and look like
I know, I have to edit it to see if I need to film anything else or something.
Okay. But anyways, yeah, guys. So I know we've been saying that for like quite
follow our process.
Yeah. Follow on TikTok. And then we'll do something for it because after like I really like
it's okay. The better movies come out in the second half of the year.
True.
So
my God, we take too long and it comes out in January.
I really don't think it's gonna take
won't.
Long.
It won't. Like it really won't. If anything, the longest thing that what will take me the longest is actually downloading the things.
Yeah.
It takes so long because it's such a big file.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think we'll be fine. So yeah, follow along with that. We'll do something for that. We'll do something for the Hollywood birthday. I don't know what yet. We literally found out 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And like completely on accident.
I remember like looking back to see how many episodes we did, and I remember seeing it September 2020, and I realized it's the end of August, and I was like, oh, when was that again? No.
Anyways, I did watch the new. I mean, by the time this comes out, it's gonna be a little bit dated, but the it's a podcast. The crazy stupid fangirls with the dad from High School Musical.
Oh my god, he's so nice.
He's so nice.
Oh my gosh, literally America's sweetheart.
Yeah, he is. He just seems. And I was having so much fun listening to like the stories from like him talking about Kenny Ortega and how Kenny Ortega works, and then like how Zac Efron works, and just like behind the scenes, like
you could tell he like really appreciates it, and not like in a cringy way.
No,
because there are some people that like.
Oh, I know exactly. You don't even need to say names. I know exactly what you're talking about. Not from High School Musical.
Well, no. Who
are you thinking of?
I was thinking about Paul Butcher.
Exactly the same person I was thinking of. But yeah, there's like a couple of people who cling onto it like in a way that's like not.
It doesn't feel genuine. It just feels like they're just doing it to stay relevant.
Whereas with the,
you could tell he was like actually appreciative of the time and like truly understands like how impactful it was and how much it means to people. Yeah. And he's just kind of like a father figure.
Yeah, and anytime I see like fan interactions like on TikTok, like he'll be
positive dad vibes.
He's so nice. Also, he was saying that he like lives in Burbank. I'm like, I can't believe we haven't run into him ever. I feel like when I was in LA, I was in Burbank all the time. So soon, manifesting.
Yeah, we love you.
Oh my god, manifesting him on our Hollywood.
That I was thinking that honestly.
I feel like we could.
Yeah.
We always say that, and we just never reach out.
Well, it's just like. If there's not a business email in the Instagram bio, there is. There in his.
Oh! I thought you meant in ours.
No, to reach out to like people.
That's true. How do you find them?
Yeah, like they have connections because they're like signed to like a
thing. It's like a thing,
and they also are YouTubers, so like they have some sort of clout.
Yeah, literally
associated with it.
Anyways,
one day.
Yeah, one day. So that's all for the little pre-show. We're about to get into the episode. It's like short but sweet. Like it's really, I think we really
impactful.
We
hit the right marks.
Yeah, we did. We had some really good conversations, and you're about to meet our guest. So ad break, and then we'll be right back. Hi everyone, welcome back from the ad break. We're here with our guest now. Hi Kennedy, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you guys?
We're doing good. It's a little bit hot. I don't know what is wrong with my living room that it's like whenever we're filming, it's really hot.
Yeah.
And then like anytime after, it's like fine, and my room is like 1,000 more degrees.
I think we're just I produce a lot of body heat.
I do
personally.
Too.
So I think it's just a recipe for disaster.
I'm the same way, but luckily this AC and this weather I have where I'm at, lifesaver.
No, my parents don't want to pay for the AC because it broke like years ago.
Yeah.
So sad.
I know. That's why I miss living on my own, just because of AC.
Yeah. The AC is like our main motivation.
We had like some dry weather here. We could not survive without the AC. Like, I mean, I did, but I don't recommend. So.
But before we get started, just so that our audience can get to know you a little bit, I just wanted to ask you what interests you in film and TV, and what made you want to go into this industry, and like what part of the industry you want to go into.
Okay, so I think what interests me is just like the storytelling aspect. Like I've always just watched TV a lot. Like that's what entertained me as a kid. Like it was just me mostly in my household. So like that's what entertained me while my mom was working. And so it just made sense as I got older that like, this is what I want to do. Like making these fun stories, television. I want to go into television more than film. And I would love to be a head writer, a showrunner eventually of my own TV show. Like that's my ultimate goal.
Because I think I said this on the last episode, but we all were like from like a bunch of like upcoming guests are from a screenwriting class. So like in a screenwriting class. And it was fun. I love my screenwriting classes because I don't know, I think the way they structure them is really fun. How like it doesn't feel competitive, it feels more like everyone's like helping each other get better. Which I feel like is the way things should be. I don't know, people get competitive for no reason sometimes.
Yeah. I feel like that's just like a people that go into film school, that's just what they think they have to do. I'm like, I don't think that's a very like old Hollywood like idea. Mm-hmm. I hate that narrative.
No, yeah. And then today's topic is going to be the racism of reality TV. We've been wanting to talk. This has been on our like Google Doc since like day one, like since we started the podcast. We've been wanting to talk about it so badly. And we'll get into that in a second. But before we do that, we do have a BuzzFeed quiz.
Wait, did you ask her why she chose this topic?
No. Oh my God, me all over the place again. Again, the coffee is kicking in. Just kidding. Before we do the BuzzFeed quiz, Kennedy, if you want to tell us a little bit of why you wanted to pick this topic specifically.
Yeah. So, I love my reality TVs here and there, but it's just like most things, like a lot of stuff is rooted in racism. They have it. And if you watch certain reality TV, it's really blatant and it's obvious, but people don't really recognize it. And it's just, I would like to talk about it more. Like, I've noticed, so we don't see people talk as much as it we really need. I think it's something to shed a light on so that we can see much more, I think, diversity and like a better like showcase of people and diverse people, because sometimes these shows really amp up and profit off of that racism perpetuates.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, yeah, especially like we'll get into that, but there are some that like, oh God, it's just, and I think the reason people don't talk about it as much is because a lot of people don't consider reality TV like they just like, well, that's not.
They don't, but then they internalize it like how that's how you treat people. That's how people that are.
They just consider it like, like, oh, that's not real television, but everybody watches it. Like, it's like America's guilty pleasure. And people are watching it either way. So it's important that these shows have, diversity just as much as like scripted television, because the same amount of people watch it. People love reality TV. There's like dozens of them that we're going to get into. But okay, now the BuzzFeed quiz. So the BuzzFeed quiz I have this time is which reality TV show. Okay, so the BuzzFeed one says, should you try out for? But I thought the title was, are you perfect for? So let me pull that up real quick. Theory, it's going to say Survivor for me, even though I don't think I would survive in Survivor for a day. I wouldn't even try out. That sounds miserable.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, like not
just
not
do
a
Big
good time.
Brother at that point. At least you get to be in a house. Like you literally live in a studio, essentially, like a house. But
I'm here for some of those romance ones. Like,
Okay.
Are You the One? Free vacation, mingle with singles. You don't get kicked off. Sign me up, and I may get money.
That's true. Are You the One is like one of the best ones because you don't get kicked off.
Right.
It's like it's that and like what's another one?
The one that stresses me out the most is Married at First Sight.
Well, yeah.
I've seen people watch, my mom watches it, and I'm like, I don't think I could ever do this.
I had a dream the other day that I was in Love is Blind, like the new season of Love is Blind. And honestly, I'm down.
Netflix, if you're listening, Kim wants to do Love is Blind.
They did like a big casting call for like all the reality
that, yeah.
TV shows. I think that was on there. Maybe I should apply.
Yeah, fun. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
All right, so the first question is, my friends would describe me as, and the options are determined, creative, charismatic, popular, resourceful, romantic. Ooh.
Let's answer for each other.
Oh, fun. Okay, I'll answer for Kennedy first because you don't really know her, but I did have her in one of my classes. I'm going to say charismatic because I was going to say creative, but obviously we're all creatives.
Obviously.
That's the whole point. So I'm going to say charismatic because I feel like in every class that I had, you were always just everyone instantly liked you. So I'm going to say charismatic for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kim? Why did you cringe like that? What did you think was going to happen?
Say.
I'm going to say determined. Oh, wait, actually, no, yeah, determined, because I feel like you will stop at nothing.
Yeah, if I want something, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
that's the perfect thing. That's what reality TV shows want you to say. If I want it, I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah, that's right.
She's the classic villain. We love to see it though.
But I'm a likable. Remember the other day when we did the rom-com one, or no, we did the movie tag and we did that thing. I was bitchy brunette. That was what I got. But you still like her.
That's what the producers want.
She's real. She's real.
Oh my God.
What would you say for Daniel?
Let's see.
Also, whose friends describe them as popular? That is not.
That's what I thought you were gonna say for me because of TikTok and stuff, and I was
no, that's a boring
cringe, right? It's just whatever. If that's the only thing you have to say about me, that's so sad.
And also,
right?
Why would your friends know if you're romantic or not?
Well, I would describe one of my friends as romantic.
Oh, okay.
I feel I don't know, just going off of when we had our classes, I would just go with charismatic too. It's you're so likable too. Everyone,
thank you.
You would show your stuff, and everyone would be like, "That's it, right there."
No, because I just remembered that in that class, what class was that? I don't even remember. But that was during my e-boy phase. It's okay. We've
The red
outgrown it.
hair?
I don't know if it was the red hair, but I was working at Hot Topic, so it was inevitable. Like, it was just a part of what had to happen. Oh my God, every time I think back about me walking into class with like a bunch of chains and
that was a weird phase.
We've outgrown it.
Yeah, it's more like now your style. Like that, but like your energy, like your personal style.
Thank you. Okay, so the next one is, it's your turn to cook dinner. What's on the menu? Okay. Something ethnic. Oh my God. I don't know what that means. That mystery container in the back of the fridge. It's probably still good. Grabbing a bite at the bar before we go out. I thought it was your turn to cook. Mediterranean shrimp kebabs, Wagyu beef burgers, and creme brulee, or immediately logs into Postmates. Oh my God. Okay. Kennedy, do you want to go first?
Okay. Who am I doing?
This one, like, if they tell you you're cooking dinner today, what are you thinking?
Oh, you know what? I'm probably definitely this is a little too fancy for me, but I definitely am the type to Mediterranean shrimp. Like, I will be cooking. Like, I like to cook. Like, I like to like showcase the meal. So that's definitely me.
So yours is a 3-course putting on a performance meal.
For the most part, yes, I'd like to.
Okay, fun. Kim?
See, I like to cook, but I'm not gonna do like a 3-course meal.
Right.
With peace and love. Like, I totally would if I had the skill and patience to.
Right.
But I lack.
Oh my God, just remember the other day you posted on Instagram, you're like, I made my meals for the week, guys.
I didn't know it. I forgot meal prepping was a thing.
Yeah, and I swiped up and I was like, Kim, you meal prepped.
Yeah, I was like, I cooked everything ahead of time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, even though it's like I don't like the wording of this, something ethnic.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
The wording's a little sketchy, but
yeah, they could have. Yeah.
I don't know.
Home cuisine.
I'm gonna say that mystery container in the back of the fridge, just because I hate like wasting food. So when we're like towards the end of like that era of the groceries that we just got, and there's like a bunch of like half-finished things, I'm like, let's make something with all of this because this food is not going to waste.
That's gonna be good when we live together.
That's a good point, though.
And my mom used to make this thing. Well, it came from my grandma, but it's like arroz con todo, which is basically like rice with everything that is in the fridge, like all the leftovers, and it's
that's smart,
so
though.
Good. Yeah. All right, it's the weekend. What are you up to? Hanging at the mall with my friends, booking a cheap flight somewhere. Okay. Trying out a new recipe I found on Pinterest. Where's the beach? Binging Netflix. I've got a hot Tinder date. Okay.
I'm not hanging at the mall, but I'm probably shopping somewhere. So I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
I'm probably binging. I wouldn't probably Netflix. Probably like Hulu or something. Or like, actually, I'm obsessed with Discovery Plus right now. So reality TV for the win.
Oh, we're gonna get into that because Discovery Plus is like insane. Like the amount of stuff they have.
And it's so cheap, right? You said it was like $1 a month.
It's like $2.99 for students.
Yeah, $2.99 for students. It's amazing. I love it. So yeah, definitely binging Netflix. I will say, I wish I had a Tinder date.
I wish I had a cheap flight somewhere, but that's not what's happening. I'm gonna say
not in the pandemic.
No,
it's like not even on my radar.
No. I'm gonna do trying out a new recipe I found on Pinterest, not by choice, but just because my mom is always like, "Look what I saw on Pinterest," and then we end up making it and it's not even just recipes; it's like DIYs, and I don't know. My mom is a Pinterest gal. When you're not watching reality TV, you like to watch, and then the options are: honestly, I only watch reality TV. How-to videos on YouTube, what's trending, rom-coms, the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, that's perfect.
An action flick. Okay. I'm going to say what's trending just because that's like a lot of the times why I watch things. Like I watched The White Lotus because everyone was talking about it. Or like I'll go on YouTube and see like what's trending. Or like I love it on Netflix where it says like, oh, these are the top 10. Like, what are people? And sometimes it's a little weird what people are so obsessed with. But I love looking at that. So I'm gonna do what's trending. Oh, I thought that was awesome.
I'm gonna do rom-coms.
Okay, fun.
I may have to do what's trending just because, like, sometimes I'm watching what everyone's watching, sometimes I'm not, but I don't like how other things are worded. But I'm definitely probably that. That's probably the closest. I do love a good rom-com.
Yeah.
I would have picked YouTube if it didn't say how to.
Yeah, they're
like,
too specific.
Yeah, that's
Like,
say YouTube.
Be a little more vague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, karaoke time. What are you singing? Also, the fact that these questions are so random. It's supposed to be like what you're doing in the Big Brother
It's like
house.
personality things.
Karaoke time. What are you singing? Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus, Tequila by The Champs, Don't Stop Believing by Journey, Defying Gravity from Wicked, Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, or Shallow from A Star Is Born? Oh.
So the widest options in the world.
Yeah. These are definitely white. When there's theater involved, it's definitely like, I'm going to do, okay. I'm going to do Don't Stop Believing, just for a little glee moment.
Please. Yes.
Kennedy, which one are you going to pick?
Honestly, to go with the glee vibes, probably Defying Gravity.
it's the verses.
Yeah, my inner Kurt Hummel, though, I'm always, I don't like Rachel.
Shallow?
Because I like to pretend like I don't know, like I'm good at singing.
But also, there's some
and then
fun...
everyone's like, "Oh my god, like you're kind of good," and I'm like, "Oh my god, stop!" I remember, like I would get I used to be. I actually got embarrassed when people brought up, and now I'm just like, it's like my secret talent.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's like I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
So I only bring it out when it's like needed.
Okay. So karaoke time is like the perfect time.
Exactly. That's why I love going to karaoke. My friends hate going with me because of that.
You like try too hard. Oh my god, there's so many questions.
Absolutely.
Okay,
I take it too seriously sometimes.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
What's your most toxic trait? I'm lazy. I don't trust easily. I'm overly ambitious. I'm selfish. I can be superficial, or I'm too competitive. Oh my god, this one.
I'm most of these.
Okay.
Dang.
I'm too competitive because I didn't think I was competitive. I thought I didn't care. But then like my friends were like, no, you're like super competitive. I just think I'm the least competitive in my family. But the rest of my family is super competitive. So like I just am competitive by nature. So I'm going to do that one because I didn't know I was, but apparently I am.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, I don't trust easy. Like I don't trust people. Like you only get to know so much about me or see me. So that might be my Scorpio nature. I don't know, but that is definitely.
It definitely is 100%. I don't know.
Are you having a hard time deciding?
I'm having a hard time deciding which one I am the most.
Are you okay? Pick.
Because so I am lazy. I am overly ambitious sometimes. Which is really contradictory. I'm selfish.
I don't think overly ambitious should be considered toxic.
I don't think it's a bad thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna say I'm selfish.
Okay.
I think it's the only child behavior.
Okay. Who is your? Okay, who is your celebrity crush? Channing Tatum or Blake Lively? By the way, these are like grouped together. For the people listening, I don't know why. Michael B. Jordan or Chrissy Teigen? Zac Efron or Zendaya? Ryan Reynolds or Emma Watson? The Rock or Jennifer Lawrence? Steph Curry or Kate Upton?
Ooh.
Very confused by these pairings, except Zac Efron and Zendaya. That's the only one that makes sense to me because of The Greatest Showman.
Like Ryan Reynolds and Emma Stone, I could like see similarities.
Okay. Emma Watson? Did they do something together?
No, I don't think so.
Steph Curry and Kate Upton. I didn't think people really remembered Kate Upton like that. No shade, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Also, pairing her with Steph Curry seems very random.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Zac Efron or Zendaya because it's the easy way out, I think, of this question.
What about you, Kennedy?
This is the hardest one.
Yeah, I would have to. I kind of would probably choose Zac Efron too. It's just
I'm gonna do
Oh no, there's an explanation.
I'm gonna do Channing Tatum or Blake Lively because unpopular opinion, I really like Serena in Gossip Girl.
Right.
So I always love Blake Lively. I know that's like such a hot take. And then also the pictures of Zoe Kravitz and Channing Tatum lately have been like really reigniting. When he has that shaved head, it just reminds me of Step Up. and I'm just like, I was like a step up stan.
Right.
So I think it just transcended me. And Zoe Kravitz.
We love Zoe Kravitz. Amazing. That was a great reasoning. Thank you.
I just wanted everybody to know where my head was at.
Yeah. Because I definitely needed the explanation because I would have been very confused.
You would have been judging.
Yeah. And then finally, pick a junk food. A big bag of potato chips, Little Debbie snacks, donuts, grandma's homemade cookies, chocolate or candy bars, or ice cream.
I'm going to say chips. I could fuck up a bag of chips.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Did you already get yours?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last one. Okay, I'm going to do grandma's homemade cookies. Even though my grandma doesn't live here and has probably never made me cookies, that just sounds like a good time.
It's because of that SpongeBob episode. Oh my God, you've never seen SpongeBob? I forgot.
No.
But do you know what I'm talking about?
Of course I do.
Yes. I just think like that episode, and because we all thought she was a cookie, but it's just because she was an aged sponge. That's why she was like,
oh, the grandma? I thought she was a cookie too. Was she not?
No, she's just an older sponge.
I had like a big brain as a child because I always thought she was just a sponge. I never thought she was a cookie.
But because I think also because she was making cookies in the episode, I was like,
oh.
I mean, I obviously was not a big brain child, and I don't know why she would make cookies when she's a cookie. But
I'd have to go with Little Debbie snacks because I love those things. It's just so good.
Yeah, that was like a childhood staple, like the Swiss rolls.
Yeah.
Oh, we had those.
I think all of them. Like they don't taste like fresh, but they're good.
Yeah.
Like they taste very processed. Okay, I really like mine actually.
Go ahead.
So I'll go first because I think you saw mine right now when I went to close the door. Okay, I got The Amazing Race, which is funny because I used to my friend and I used to say that we were gonna go on this show.
I could definitely see you on that show,
I
to
would
be honest.
love to go on The Amazing Race.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I love The Amazing Race. So the little description is, you're ambitious and never the one to back down from a challenge. Your competitive edge pushes you to be the best you can be, sometimes even at the expense of others. Lace up your running shoes, grab your bestie, renew your passport, and let's go. This one was shade at me, literally because I don't have a passport right now.
You don't?
No, because I lost it in my old apartment, and when we moved out, I thought I would find it. Don't know where it is.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Remember you found my passport when you cleaned my room for a set?
I do remember.
Yeah.
It was inside your record player.
The Bachelor or Bachelorette.
Okay.
To be honest, your hotness is your best quality. Don't worry, beautiful people can make it far in life. You might be a little shallow, but you're ready for love. And if you become an Instagram model after your TV appearance, who cares if you get done?
This one's really good.
Yeah.
Okay,
I thought you were going to say accurate. I was like, that's kind of rude.
Okay. Kennedy, what was yours?
Okay, I'm actually happy with mine. Mine's Chopped.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Great show.
Yeah, mine says you're creative and resourceful, which will help you in this cutthroat competition, even when your skills fall short. You make up it by producing something truly original and magnificent. Keep your eye on the prize because the clock goes fast. It's cute.
Oh, nice.
I could definitely see us on all these shows.
Yeah.
I completely agree with this one. This makes up for my BuzzFeed quiz choice from last week because it was kind of a flop. I just didn't look at the questions that deeply, but this one was good. All right, let's get into the episode.
I like that quiz. Good job.
That was a fun quiz.
That's good.
Thank you. So today's topic I mentioned earlier is the racism of reality TV. So the way we kind of split this up is there's specific franchises that we want to talk about, and we're sort of going to talk about the issues of them, and because the structures and the history of each of these franchises are so completely different, especially the premise of them. Like some of them are a competition, some of them are like a dating show, some of them are like a mixture of the two.
The rich people living their lives.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're all completely different formats. So we're just gonna go by that because I feel like that was the most cohesive way to do this.
Yeah.
Especially because they're all on completely different networks, I think. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one we have is the Survivor franchise. It premiered in the year 2000, which also it's still going on, right? Like 21 years. That's actually crazy.
It's still super popular too.
And the premise for people who don't know, I'm pretty sure everyone knows, is 16 people get thrown on an island and they have to compete and quote unquote survive for a prize of $1 million. So this one's much more of a physical, athletic
endurance. I literally learned the word endurance from the show because they always use it.
Yeah, they do. In every challenge, they're like, let's test your endurance.
Yeah, and they're just standing on a log for,
for
hours.
And also before we get into everything else, this show seems miserable to be on. But so I was like, who would ever want to be on this? But there are so many can get it.
My mom wanted to be on it.
Really?
At one point. I remember because like I always watched it growing up with her. She was like, I think I would be good on the show. And Big Brother. I think I should just sign my mom up for Big Brother. She would be really good.
Yeah.
Because like she's pretty diplomatic, I would say, and she's pretty quiet, but I feel like she'll be like the underdog.
Oh my god,
I'm rooting for my mom.
Wait, no, actually I would watch that.
And my friends love my mom, so like she would already have a fan base.
Okay. And then so during that first season, there was let me just completely I was looking at the words and none of them were registering in my brain.
The coffee's sitting.
I couldn't figure out where the line started. So during that first season, there was a contestant named Ramona Gray Amaro, and she was the first Black woman to compete on Survivor. And so I believe she only made it 12 days, but then she got off the island, and she was watching the season back, and she was like, they edited me so horribly racist. And so I was reading an interview with her, and she was saying how they edited her to harmful stereotypes. So for example, there was one part where I guess they were editing her like that she was being lazy. She wasn't doing anything. When in reality, she was so absolutely dehydrated because like you're literally surviving on an island. And like, I totally get that. And so she just like was tired. She didn't have water in her system. And the way the producers edited it was like, oh, she's being lazy. She doesn't want to do anything. And that's a common thing that we're going to start saying, like, while we talk about all these shows, is like the editing is like they want to make a show. So what they do is they like whittle people down to like stereotypes and like characters that like work on like scripted television, obviously, but in real life nobody is that two-dimensional. But they have to
filming them all day, so they can only show you like literally a minuscule amount of that person, and it's easy for them just to edit into characters and edit whatever they say to fit the character because of like that restriction and stuff. So like now, like I used to watch reality TV shows like kind of blindly. I wouldn't really think about the edit. I would just take it surface level, which I feel like a lot of people do. Definitely. Because that's like all you see. But now that I watch reality TV shows, and especially now having social media where people are like kind of like talking about it and like there's more insight to what's going on behind the scenes, I like take that in mind whenever I'm watching these people. I like always give the people on the show the benefit of the doubt. And I think more people need to like do that rather than literally just turning against people that are not even remotely control of how they're portrayed. Literally.
Because I remember there was this one episode of it's like so random. This one episode of Fear Factor, long time ago, and there was like a mom and a son competing, and the way they edited it was like there's something incesty going on. Ooh. And I remember watching and being like, "This is weird." And then the next day, the mom and the son were like furious because they were like, "You edited this in such a like weird way that you made us look crazy," and that was not at all like they were just like. There's this one moment when they were like focusing on winning, and so they had like their foreheads touching, but the way they edited it with like the rest of the people like laughing at them, making fun of them, made them look like.
And you know, a producer told them to do that, and also the people weren't laughing at them. They just pulled the laughing from a different part. Like now in hindsight, you know that's how it is.
Especially I think us like as people who like want to go into this industry. We have like a little bit of a better understanding of how things work just because like that's literally what we went to school for. So we know about like editing and like all these kinds of things. And like there are other people who like just don't even consider that. Like they're just like
the average American does not.
No. Which is not their fault, like at all. Like they're just there to be entertained for an hour every week.
Plus it's unscripted. Like it's they
like
don't
low stakes technically. Like when you're watching it, you're just like, oh, I'm just watching people live. No thoughts had empty.
No, literally. So Amaro did an interview with I don't remember who, I think it was Vulture, but NPR, period. And so they started asking other like Black contestants from Survivor what they thought about it, and they were like, we also were completely edited in such a racist way. And they had like they got together and they had like requests for the network, and so their requests were hire more people of color to work behind the scenes as casting executives, editors and producers to improve portrayals, enforce a zero-tolerance policy for racist acts, avoid creating storylines for non-white contestants that play to racial stereotypes, and issue a public statement acknowledging systemic racism in the franchise with a concrete plan for addressing it. Which
that is
very
very reasonable.
More than reasonable. That's like, they're not even asking for much. That's like what should be have done
bare
already.
Minimum.
Yeah.
That should have been like the layout in the beginning.
Exactly, yeah. And so Jatia Hart, I don't know if I said that right, but she was from the 2014 season Survivor.
Well, before you get into that, I wanted to talk more about like what they're laying out.
Okay.
Because like I think especially like a lot of these shows, they started like in the early 2000s, right? And coming off like the 90s and stuff, like there was like a fake sense of acceptance and accepting diversity and accepting all people because of like sitcoms and like stuff like that. There was such a fake sense of that. And so I think they thought they could get away with that because of what is happening culturally. And now, and like we didn't have like social media and stuff at that time, so there wasn't people checking it. There wasn't like a safe place for people to be like, hey, does this feel wrong to you?
Yeah.
Because it feels wrong to me. There was not that space to like hold that. And I feel like especially I think about like the reality TV shows I watch now, like there's a couple instances. I love The Challenge, which is like a spinoff of The Real World on MTV. And there has been a couple instances of racism on the show. There was one time, and they banned them. They like completely banned them from the show. They're not allowed to come back. There was one season where one of the girls, like it was like airing during last summer when the BLM movement was more forward and there was like a lot of protests going on. And one of the contestants that was on the show, who was like a really big part, like she was probably gonna like, she was like on track to like winning. And I think they wanted to like paint her as a fan favorite. She said some racist ass shit on Twitter. And then MTV had to like completely rid it. And they just completely basically took her out of the show. And I was like, period. Like if MTV can go back and re-edit the show and literally cut out this person to deplatform them, like I feel like that should be like the golden standard if that's what you find out. Like it doesn't matter if that person was a pinnacle of the show that season. Fuck them. Like they shouldn't, like you're giving them a platform by showing them on television, which is, we'll talk about that later with The Bachelor.
Oh yeah.
Especially. So I thought that was interesting and that they did that. And I think that is what should be done. It doesn't matter if it's airing, like take that person out because they don't deserve their platform at all. And they don't deserve to reap any benefits at all from that show. So yeah, and also they don't really like make a big deal about it as well. Like they said that for that particular thing, they said they made a statement and stuff, but where other people where it's like, sometimes it's like instances of even like casual racism, or they get drunk a lot on the show too. And I remember this one contestant said some out of pocket shit to Leroy, who is one of the main Black contestants that's always on the show. Not anymore, he retired. But people were just so like, I also don't think it like registered with a lot of people how severe it was, like the severity of like what she was saying and how bad it hurt like Leroy, because a lot of times these contestants, like the Black contestants, they can't really show their emotion either because they're going to be edited like how Amara was edited. Like they're,
as a Black person in general, you can't show your emotions a certain way. As a Black woman specifically, if I can talk about that, it's just if you raise your voice, I'm angry. Or you can have a plain face and it's like, oh, well, you have an attitude. That's not it. Like it's always there's a 0 to 100. There's nothing else in between. Like we are basically seen as caricatures and stereotypes. We're not seen as human beings to people. And people don't recognize that. Or they don't understand that that's what they do. And when you tell them that, they get upset. But it's like, well, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And like a lot of, and this, what you're saying too, a lot of the shows, especially the early 2000s and now, it just comes back to the lack of education and just ignorance, that people don't understand that there's so much you don't realize what it may seem like a harmless joke. It may seem like a funny gag, but it's like there's a whole deeper meaning behind it. And once you go back and learn that, you'll recognize why. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I was out of pocket. Maybe. But because we don't have that, that's why this keeps happening.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, with social media now, people are starting to have these conversations about why you can't say that, why you can't do that.
Yeah, and I think that's like the perfect example of that is going to be when we get to The Bachelor, the whole Chris Harrison situation. I think it's like a perfect example of like someone who didn't understand how harmful the things they were saying were. Like he truly did not understand on that thing, but we'll get to that.
And then the last thing I want to, well, on the ending on the challenge, like they just take out the people that like, and also there's been people that have like sexual assault allegations against them and they just completely like ban them from the show because they're like, fuck that, like, no, like you don't get to have the platform anymore, period. Like zero tolerance, like bye. We don't want to make money off of you if you're going to be fucking racist and abusers and shit. And then the other thing that happened this past year was with CBS with Love Island. CBS made a statement saying that for their unscripted shows, so reality shows, that they were going to cast at least 50% people of color. And with this last season of Love Island that just came on, you can absolutely see that. And it's like, oh, thank God, finally. Like, woo! Like, it's like, yes, we should be happy that this is happening, but it should have happened a long time ago. But I'm glad that they're actually sticking to it. And I think I said this before, but they're like working directly with the NAACP as well. So like just like having a solid action and already having the action in place. Like you can say whatever you want to as a network and stuff, but actually doing it and seeing it through is a thing that we don't see as often. So I like appreciate that CBS is doing that. And I think Survivor maybe CBS, and Big Brother is definitely CBS. Okay. So you can like see that now. Okay. So
okay, I'm glad that they're doing that because I think do they have a streaming CBS? Oh, it's like
it's
CBS.
Paramount Plus.
Oh, okay. But yeah, the last thing I just wanted to say about Survivor, it was a quote from Jatia Hart, an alum from the 2014 season, Survivor Cagayan. What is that? Is that a place? Oh, I have a degree. This is what she said. I have a degree in nuclear engineering from a top engineering school. I'm a mother. I work in national security. I am very well-rounded, and I just got boiled down to a simple trope of a lazy, unintelligent person. And I think that perfectly sums up like a lot of the problems with editing. And like we'll get into a little bit more in the other ones, but the last thing I just wanted to like plug was like when I was doing research for this part, I found like a roundtable on YouTube. It's part of a podcast. I don't remember the name of the podcast, but it was a Black Voices of Survivor roundtable, and it was just a bunch of ex-contestants talking about like their experience on the show, the problems they had with it, what they want to see from the show going forward. And I will link that on our Hollywood Instagram because it's definitely worth a watch because it's so interesting hearing these people talk about their experience. I also just like hearing about people's experience on reality shows because it's so different than what we think is really going on.
100%.
Like when the Bachelor article that we're going to talk about rattled me. I did not know the amount of stuff like goes on behind the scenes. And like, there's that one show where they're like, it's like
I was going to say that.
What is that show called?
Unreal.
It's
such a good show. It's so
and I was
good.
like, there's no way it's this crazy. And it is. And it's probably worse. But yeah, any last thoughts on Survivor before we move on to The Bachelor? Because I know this one's gonna be a lot.
No, I'm interested to like watch back the season that's like I think currently airing or like just aired to like see with this new change that I mentioned earlier, like if it's working on like other things because I've only watched Love Island out of all the CBS shows. I think I was watching Big Brother with my mom and I can definitely see there's more diversity on that one, but I'm just interested to see and like the editing style and stuff. I'm just interested to see if they actually fix it. Okay. I hope so. Yeah, I like CBS for the most part.
So the next franchise that we have is the Bachelor franchise. I think this might be the most popular one on the list. And essentially, these were the only three I found, but I don't know if there's more. But it consists of The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, and Bachelor in Paradise.
Bachelor Winter Games was a thing too.
Really?
I don't know if it's still a thing, but it was.
I saw it in the article with Rachel that we'll get into, but the premise of the show, for if you somehow don't know, if you somehow manage to escape this, is one person dating 24 other people. And I wrote this because for the majority of like the run of the show, it was just one skinny white person dating 24 other skinny white people. And
if you look up the pictures, it's literally like that. There's maybe one mildly tan person.
Yeah. And you know there's an issue when you have to start going by last name. Like, there should not be Connor H, Connor B, Connor C. Like, come on, guys. Really? Yeah. John A, John C. Like, I think we can get a little bit more diverse here.
And if there were some people of color, you notice they had, like, 0 screen time. Or they definitely didn't get the first roses. It was just like, oh, okay. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Yeah. I didn't realize how, like, I thought it was just like literally like they let the Bachelor pick who like gets the rose, but then reading that article I was like, oh my god, it's like a process.
Yeah.
Like it's like, well, this person needs to go home, so you can't give them a rose. Like it's like, okay, but we'll get into that. And so the first Black lead of this franchise was Rachel Lindsay. After 21 seasons, she was the first Black Bachelorette.
21 seasons of The Bachelor and 13 seasons of The Bachelorette.
Because it's like on and off, right?
Yeah, they switch. So after 33.
Do they do Bachelor in Paradise like it's like Bachelor Bachelorette Paradise?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I don't care.
I have no idea. But
I don't care anymore. Stop that show. For now.
Okay. And so so there was an article that Kim sent me, and it was like a Vulture article that she wrote herself, basically explaining like from her experience like as a contestant on like one of the Bachelor seasons all the way to her being cast as the Bachelorette, and then to like the end of her like run on the show, and like essentially her like leaving the franchise. That article is insane.
She's like an amazing person in general. Like I remember when I was watching Nick's season from the because she got the first impression rose, and she was the first Black woman to get the first impression rose ever, and that's like a big deal. If you don't know The Bachelor, like that's a big deal. Usually the person that gets the first impression rose makes it to like the top 5, which is like hometowns. And she did get like a really good edit, but seeing her point of view from the article about like how they kind of made her this like model Black woman and like didn't allow her really the space to like go off of that, because that was like her whole thing was like she's a lawyer and she's like great, and her dad was a federal judge. Like she was like, that's the only thing they let her be. So they thought that she was gonna be able to like fit this mold of like the perfect first Black lead.
Is that I like to call it the digestible Negro. Like very much the Cosby era type thing, like, oh, you are distinguished, you're this and that, that's all you're gonna be. Like that's much more easy to sell, and like it's like it's like a double-edged sword when you get that like stereotype, because it's like you have no room to be anything but perfect and but model citizen, and they also treat it like almost like a unicorn, like, ooh, you're this Black, you speak so well. It's just I don't know. I hate to hear that like that was her experience, because on one end it's great to see that yes, there are Black lawyers and all this, but at the same time it's like that's all you are to people, is like what your other labels. Like you can't just be a human. Once again, back to that.
She was definitely tokenized when like she was on whose season was she on? Nick Viall. When she was on his season, and even like she was saying in the article, like when this is after her season of The Bachelor, and they called her to tell her like, oh, by the way, we cast a Black Bachelor, like it's our first Black Bachelor.
Yeah.
And she was like, literally laughed at them and was like, okay, like congrats, like what, like it's just, I feel like it's so, they truly do not see like she's literally said to them
when
so
they
many
casted him, it was in response to the Black Lives Matter movement that happened in the summer. So that's why she was like, okay, great timing. Like that seemed like, what the fuck? Like and also like the way that Matt was portrayed on his whole season was just like so lame. Like they made him have no personality. Like you could not like him at all. It was so bad. That was like the last season I watched, because I was like, what the fuck is this?
I remember you talking about this, like where he would be posting TikToks.
Yeah, I was about to
with
say.
Like all these like fun things.
He's funny. Like, like I mean, like he was really funny on like when he like you saw his personality, you saw him be funny, and but I think I bet you they don't have like any black men
Mhm.
like behind the scenes. Like if they are, they're like cameramen or grips or something like that. They're not main producers probably. So like there's definitely probably none in the editing room. So how are you like? I'm sure they like didn't have any clue on how to portray him.
Yeah.
Because they have these inherent biases, like you said earlier, and like it's just like it's so weird to like think about it. And like on Matt's season, he had a contestant called Rachel Kirkconnell. I don't know how to say it.
Also, by the way, when I was watching, like reading the articles and reading things, it took me like half the time to figure out there was 2 Rachels. Because there was like one with like an AE, and that was like the racist one, right? AE, Rachel.
No, that's Rachel. Oh, Rachel. Yeah,
Rachel.
It's Rachel. It's Rachel. It's just spelled weird.
But like when I was reading it, I was like, wait, this is a different Rachel? Okay, anyway, continue.
She was on this season, and she was like one of the front runners, I guess. I stopped watching halfway because I was like, when all the allegations came out about her, not allegations, she did it.
Yeah,
there's fucking pictures.
Yeah.
Those came out. I was like, okay, no, I don't like it. I'm not gonna do this because it was so obvious that she was gonna win.
Yeah.
That's how it was edited. And if you don't know what she did, she went to a plantation party in 2018. 2018. Well, honestly, you shouldn't go to those shits anyways. But
I can't believe that is a thing.
Like, yeah, and some people still don't know why that's bad.
Yeah. Oh my God, the interview with
a plantation wedding. I don't.
Yeah.
Understand that. Especially if you're black, like why? You know, it sure looks lovely, but
there are so many other lovely buildings that don't have that kind of history. Like, what are you guys doing? And so, okay, so like one of the biggest like controversies that I ever saw on the show, like me not knowing anything about The Bachelor, even I knew this was going on when it was happening, but the host, Chris Harrison, he's been the host forever. He's like the staple of The Bachelor. He's like part of the show.
Yeah.
He did an interview with Rachel Lindsay. So she was on Extra, I believe. She does like interviews on Extra. And so she interviewed him after these pictures came out, and she was like, what do you think about it? And I have never seen such a like he not only was he talking over her so many times, but it was clear that she was like not comfortable at all. And like obviously she's on TV, so she knows how they're gonna paint her if like
it's a 15-minute long clip of him just digging himself in a deeper fucking hole. And literally being deranged, unhinged. It was like scary to watch.
Talking about like he's like, oh, the woke police and like all this stuff. I'm like, Chris, what are you on about? Like literally, what are you on about? Like I don't know. It was just I'd never seen that interview before. Like I knew it was happening, but then when you sent it to me, I was
like setting the stage for that interview. The pictures came out, and everyone was like, "What the fuck?" It was outrage, obviously, and nobody was talking about it. Rachel didn't say anything about it. Chris didn't talk about it before that interview with Rachel. The network said nothing. So obviously Rachel has all this pressure on her as the first black lead, and as she was at the time was hosting that on Extra. She had podcasts. She was just basically like the person of color reference point. And that's not fair to her. She should not have to fucking do that. That is not her responsibility. And that's another thing she referenced in the article. When she signed on, she knew how much responsibility it would take, but she didn't think it was going to be like she would just be a figurehead at the end of it, like a pawn in their literal scheme. And so also I was listening to her podcast talking about it, where she like felt comfortable to have the space to say what she actually wanted to say. And she was saying that in the interview, it was literally just him and her.
Yeah.
And there was no publicist. There was nobody from the network, because usually that's a thing, like when you do interviews like that. But because I feel like Chris Harrison felt like he felt safe because he knew Rachel, he just for some reason felt like he could say that.
Yeah.
And what? Like, and like if you don't like, there's so many things that he said that were wrong. Everything he said was wrong.
Like every 30 seconds he would make it worse. I'd be like, are you serious?
Yeah, and it just showed like defensiveness, and he kept on saying like he wasn't defending Rachel, but then he would immediately go and defend Rachel Kirkconnell. And it was just, I remember being so physically angry watching that. I couldn't imagine how Rachel felt in that situation, being there face to face.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It was a lot. And sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I just don't understand how like certain white people feel so comfortable talking these like rhetorics with like people of color, especially Black people, and then I just don't understand where do they think that we A, want to listen to that, B, think we're going to be sympathetic to your perspective when it's just so what's the word? It's just so like insensitive or just blind to the fact of like it's such a inconvenience more than really any like anything in comparison to what we go through. So I just don't understand why you felt comfortable enough to even go into that anyway.
Yeah. And he kept saying like during the interview, he would be like talking about something. He'd be like, you know this, like to Rachel.
She's like, do not.
Yeah, he was like, you know this, like everyone. He was like, well, everyone on both sides of the political spectrum hates me. Like everyone hates me. Blah blah blah. He was like, you know this, right? And like stuff like that. And I was like
to be affirmed in what he was saying. She was not gonna give that to him because she fucking agreed with what he was saying. Yeah. It was so literally deranged.
No,
it was so weird, and I literally told Daniel, I was like, you need to watch like his delivery. Like you can read the quotes and stuff, but watching that man completely become unhinged for 15 minutes straight and try to get validation from somebody who was hurt by the situation and was not hearing her out at all. It was just ridiculous. And I remember her when he started defending her, because that's what he did, and she was saying, well, what do I represent at a plantation party?
Oh yeah.
What do I represent at that? And he just totally just dismissed the thought. He just completely went back to defense mode. And I just think like we just need more grace and empathy for the people that are hurt. It doesn't matter how you feel. If you're not the group that's being affected, you don't have a fucking opinion. Your opinion literally does not fucking matter at all. So I just don't understand. Like when I first watched it, I was like, okay, like he's the face, so like it makes sense that he's talking about this. And then I was like, okay, but whoa, like I thought this would be like a conversation, like she would be able to like speak, like educate, because I mean, like educate on her platform and like have an open conversation. And that is just not what happened at all. It was just so crazy. And I remember talking about it with my friends in our group chat, because that's like kind of like how we all met. It was like in college, we would always watch The Bachelor together. And the Bachelor house is literally like right down the street from like our college. It was like a big thing. And like Chris Harrison was always like seen around the like neighborhood and stuff like that. So
and that one time we were filming and you said that the Bachelor like always plays like, what is it, basketball? Like football, right next to where we were
flag
filming.
Football. He played flag, like Peter Weber, like played like flag football on our campus. He was from Westlake Village, which is like the area where my school was. And he would always be at the bar. Like my friends from college would always like be taking pictures of him like while at the bar and stuff. Like it's like a really big part of where I lived for like a really big time. So it was like a really big point of topic, I guess. So I don't know, like, and all my friends were just like, I can't believe what he's saying. Like, did y'all see this? Like, we caught this man red-handed, and he did not handle the backlash with grace at all either. No. He absolutely the publicist probably ripped him a new fucking asshole and was like, what the fuck did you fucking do? And his apology, whatever, was so weak. And then at the end of it, he stepped off the show. But I remember when this was happening live, because I was like, what the fuck are they gonna do? And I kept on feeling like the network was leaking information here and there to test how people would react if he could come back. Absolutely not.
No.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And also I was like, he doesn't need any more money off of this franchise at all. He settled with the 8-figure deal.
Yeah, that was insane. I didn't know that. So all I knew. Yeah, I didn't know that either until I read the Rachel article that she wrote. So I knew I thought he just got kicked off, and then she writes like, oh, he left with an 8-figure settlement. Like he doesn't even have to work again.
No.
So that wasn't him getting kicked off. He basically got a retirement plan. And
think about he still probably gets royalties from streaming and stuff like that. There's still things that he can get money from. Like I know this is really weird, but he's like really big in the golf world, like celebrity golf tournaments and stuff. Like he's he's really well known and still like beloved in his community, I feel like, because Westlake Village is a very rich white neighborhood. That's where a lot of like celebrities live. Like Jamie Foxx lives there, Britney Spears lives there, like a lot of celebrities live there to get out, quote unquote, outside of LA, but still be able to like live there because it's like 40 minutes away. So it's a very white homogenous community. So I know where he lives. He doesn't face backlash. He's very much comfortably living, and that makes me upset. He should not. He needs to learn, because when you allow people to do that, allow people to get any figure settlement, what do they learn from the situation? Because they still have everything at the end of the day. They just get to sit at home instead of being on set all day. And also, like, I was never a big fan of Chris Harrison to begin with, because it's just like, what the fuck does a white man, what is he going to do for women? Like, what is this? Like, every time he came on the screen, like, and to give quote unquote advice and like guidance, because that was like his role. It was just like, it wasn't actual. It was he was just moving along the process.
And it felt like he was like, the way he asked questions, because I've only seen bits and pieces here and there, but he would ask questions in order to get certain emotions out of them. I'm like, you are not there.
He's just a producer. A producer.
And it was weird because it made them, like Rachel was saying in the article, like the producers, what they want is for you to think that they're your friend, so that they can get you vulnerable and get your like defenses down, so that they can get bigger reactions out of you. Just
and she was saying that there was no black producer to help her. Like, there's black producer, because when she signed on to be the Bachelorette, she said she needs to see more people of color, like behind the scenes as well. And there were some black producers, but there were the in-house producers, so that she didn't really work with them. So all the people around her, when she was like going through these feelings of like guilt and like all these like emotions, like seeing how they framed her season, because they had like a racist person on her season. They literally had a racist guy on her season named Lee Garrett, and he was literally only starting problems with the black men. And she noticed it. She was fucking dumb.
She was like, it was intentional. There's no way it wasn't.
There's absolutely no way. I don't care if that's for views. Like, you setting up people to have arguments over like race, sexuality, anything like that is just beyond me. It's gross. And there's definitely different ways to get drama out of people. You don't need to put people in literal possible harmful situations, like physical fights and shit like that. And like, and yeah, she was saying like when she was having a breakdown about one of those things, like she kind of like came to this realization that like nobody's gonna understand what she's going through, because there's nobody that looks like her, so they can't really understand what she's going through. You can empathize only so much.
And there was this one scene specifically that she was talking about, because we were mentioning editing earlier, but it was, I don't remember exactly what was happening, but one of the contestants, she was a white woman, she like goes up to her to talk about it. It's a very staged confrontation.
Vanessa, which is the one that ended up winning the season with Nick.
Why was what was the...
So there was always like tension between them, because like they were both like the fan favorites of the season. It was like, it was basically like, okay, out of Rachel and Vanessa, who's gonna get
Nick? Right. Okay. Yeah, I remember now.
So like they basically were like, okay, you need to have a conversation about this. And then Vanessa, I can't believe she said this. They didn't air it. Because I like both Vanessa and Rachel on the season. And like now Vanessa and Rachel are good. They like had a private conversation and they're fine. They hashed it out. But at the time, Vanessa said that she felt bullied by Rachel. And I don't think she understood the microaggression that came from that and like the racist undertones of what she said. And then Rachel said that she literally laughed. She was like, how did I bully you?
And the way she describes the setup of how they got this, they made Rachel sit down like reading, and they had Vanessa go up to her, and Rachel was like, looking back at it, they wanted her to seem like the bigger person, and that's why she was the one that approached the conversation. And then she also said that like Vanessa instantly like stared crying, and so Rachel was like,
she cried all during the season though. Like that wasn't shocking when I read that. I was like, that girl was crying every single episode.
And Rachel was saying like, no matter how I react to this, like it's not going to end well for me. Because they're just going to paint me as like she's already making herself the victim.
And she called them out. She, after the conversation, she was like, what the fuck was that? And then one of the producers were like, we're not going to air it. but still, like, that's kind of like traumatic in a way.
Yeah.
Like having her think in that moment, like that this conversation is going to air and she's going to be made out to like look a certain way is just awful. And I feel like, I don't know, like, that's why, like, I've always wanted to be a producer on reality TV because I think I'd be good at it. But like watching Unreal and stuff makes me, I'm like, if reality TV is still like this, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put people in positions like that. Like you can still ask questions to create like thought and drama, quote unquote, without doing that shit.
Yeah.
Without putting people like there always has to be like a villain or whatever, but like it doesn't need to be that deep. They don't need to be like a literal evil person.
People aren't like that in real life. No one is that two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Over a man?
Yeah.
Honestly true.
No, literally.
True.
And even Rachel saying in the article, she's like, I knew I wasn't going to marry him. Like, it was just for the show. But the other girl, Vanessa, was like convinced that they were like meant to be.
I think I gathered that too when I was watching it. I was like rooting for Rachel, but I was like, I know she's like, you could tell like you could tell that they were gonna pick her for the next Bachelorette, because you can honestly tell who's gonna be the next one, and they got along really well, like super sexy couple. I really was like, I really like this, like, because I really like Nick on his season. I didn't like how he's portrayed like Bachelor in Paradise. He went from Bachelor in Paradise to being the Bachelor, which is not like a normal thing. Usually they pick somebody from the season prior to be the Bachelor, but like in recent seasons with Nat James, Matt wasn't even on Bachelor yet. He was just friends with Tyler Cameron, who is on a different season of Bachelor. They're fucking weird, like how they do it now. It just seems like a grab. Like they're frantically trying to find somebody that is like fits into their narrative of trying fake wokeness, essentially. And I really like them, but I could tell that like Vanessa, like the way they were editing Vanessa, and like she was like, I want to get married, I want to have kids, I care a lot about engagement, like very clean cut. And you could tell that like Rachel is just getting the setup for the Bachelorette. But they were still, she said in the article, she was like, I always call him my favorite ex-boyfriend. Because it was just like they knew it was light. They knew like it wasn't gonna be engagement at the end of it. So how weird is that? Just like
I don't know. I don't think I could ever go on something like it. Just seems so emotionally draining.
The Bachelor and Bachelorette just seems awful.
Yeah.
Like, also, 2 months? Is that how long do they stay on there again?
10 weeks.
10, a little bit longer, I guess, depending on like how long you stay.
Yeah, you're supposed to fall in love. I don't believe in that. Sorry.
Like,
I would never understand that.
And also, like, you're not seeing them every day. Like, you're not seeing the Bachelor every day. You're seeing the contestants more. And, like, that's even if you get, like, a date, like a 2-on-1 date or a one. I don't know how that works. But, like, I don't know. It's just, it's uncomfortable.
You have to work out the logistics of, like, okay, I live in one state, you live in another. What's your job? What? No.
You don't even know each other's favorite color and you're getting married.
Right.
As for like how the network is handling it, I think they just keep on doing things reactionary and not actually laying groundwork prior to like make actual real change.
Right.
And that's like, and like at the end of the article, Rachel was saying how she distanced herself from the franchise and everything, but she still is supporting the Black leads. Because the next Bachelorette is a Black woman, so she's like, I will be supporting her and we should, like, honestly, like, as much as I hate like how it is, if they see that views are going down and there is a Black lead or a person of color lead, that's their sign that it doesn't work.
They're gonna tie it to that as instead of the fact that nobody wants to watch anymore because of all the problems.
They're gonna blame it on the lead.
Yeah,
which is not fair at all.
No.
Like, look at yourself. Look at what you're doing behind the scenes, babes. Like, it's not cool. But I really appreciated this article that Rachel did, and like really putting it all on the table. And that's what I've appreciated of her as like a lead. Yeah. It's definitely not what ABC was expecting. No. But I think it's what people needed.
Yeah.
Like, and I really do hope that they do change it. I don't know. I don't know if they are. I really do. Like, with my expectations with Bachelor and Bachelor, because Bachelor Nation is like the fan base, right? A lot of white people.
Right.
Like at the end they do like they like send Chris Harrison out to like go to fans, and a lot of times the fans that they're going to is like white people houses, sororities, and it's like let's think about like what sororities are rooted in also. You know,
Greek life in general.
There's like a lot of shit like ingrained that you can like see who they're catering towards. And I think that's another reason why I kind of fell out of it as I got older and started coming more into like my age and like finally formulating my own opinions throughout college. I was like, hey, this is not for me, I don't think. But I did watch like Tayshia's season. I stopped watching after Tayshia's season. So there's only been 3 black leads and 34. So now there's like almost 40 seasons of this show of just The Bachelor and Bachelorette, not including Bachelor in Paradise and the spinoffs and stuff like that. So, and that's just in the past since I think Rachel went on in 2017, 2016. 2017. And that is really? Like really. And now they're kind of, because Rachel stepped away, what I noticed is that they're pushing Tayshia a lot more. And now Tayshia and Becca, who is another bachelorette, who's a white woman, they're Chris Harrison now.
Okay.
Which I do like, and I've been watching some clips of it, and I think that just makes more sense. Let's have like past bachelors, like make it a rotating host. There doesn't need to be one host at all. And like for the Bachelorette, it make it like a person that's an equal to them. Like if it's a black bachelor lead, if it's an Asian bachelor, I mean, there's not going to be Asian bachelor lead because the way Asian men are emasculized, like is a different story. But make it somebody that they can fucking relate to. And like I feel like that's more interesting, and also like show, especially Bachelor Nation being such a big white audience, really show them authentic ways of how people interact with each other. People of the same race interact with each other, because it's like, I know it sounds stupid and like I mean, people should be doing more research beyond reality TV, obviously. That's just like the average American, like we were saying. The average American is Bachelor Nation. And we need to see more authentic people of color interactions.
And I also note, like she also mentioned the article, because Rachel ended up getting with
Brian,
and he's like Hispanic, right? She was
he's
saying
Spanish, I think.
Oh, okay. She was saying that during his season, every time he would come out, they would play Latin music.
I remember that, and the way they edited him in hindsight, I did not like him the entire season. And she said like how they would edit him and Peter, which was like the front runner. He was a white man. He was like all American. And like the way they edited him versus Brian, of course I'm gonna like Peter more than Brian, because he's from Miami, and I think he was like a real estate guy. So like they just played into that stereotype of him and like making him a playboy type of character. So obviously we're not gonna want Miss Rachel to end up with a playboy. And when she picked him, it was like a shock to everybody. So I didn't like that either. And like their connection is so real, and like I really love, because she's very open about them, and like she talks a lot about how in love they are, and it's like, wow, like he seems like a great person. He seems great. I'm so sad that I hated him on the show because of how they edited him. But I'm glad she was able to find real love on that show. If anything,
there
good
are
happens,
some couples that like do actually find,
and a lot of times it's the only other successful couple I can think of that is from the show and not the spinoff is Sean and Catherine, Sean was a white guy and Catherine is Filipino. And I remember when Catherine was on, I was like, I don't know how old I was, but watching her, I was like, oh my God, a Filipino girl? I love her because I'm Filipino. And that's sad that like I haven't had anybody really to identify with since then. And I think I was probably like in high school when that happened, like maybe middle school. So and that is the only other couple that I can remember off of Bachelor and Bachelorette that like made it, that is like interracial.
Right. I don't know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what ABC does.
And also like what I said last time, ABC is with Disney. And like I said, last week's episode, I said Disney does not take risks.
They don't.
And they are very much serving to a certain audience. And I think it's time.
Yeah.
It's time to change.
This franchise needs a big rehaul.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And if that's taking like a year off production, so be it.
Yeah.
It has like such a big fan base that they can afford to do that.
Yeah.
Like, or at least like focus and maybe do like a year where so people aren't out of jobs.
Yeah.
Doing a year of like catch ups with like past contestants or like maybe going into like a deep dive of like different. There's so many different ways you can still give people jobs, but like work on the actual franchise at stake.
They could do like 100 different spin-offs as we're going to get into with the next show, but there's a lot to unpack in this next one because I genuinely couldn't figure out. Like, I have issues with it, but we'll get into it. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about 90 Day Fiancé, the franchise on TLC. We all know what TLC does. We all know how they're very much.
Well, they have like TLC, if you don't know, like Toddlers and Tiaras, like that kind of thing. Like very like they're like oddball stories.
Yeah,
is what TLC does with their reality. Like was Hoarders on there or something like that?
Yeah, it's like A&E, but they have Hoarders of it too.
Yeah, they have like the Amish
extreme couponers.
Yeah,
my big fat gypsy.
Yeah, like just it's like non-conventional.
Yeah,
yeah. So that's what originally attracted me to the show 90 Day Fiancé. So for everyone who doesn't know, I feel like it blew up during quarantine, but 90 Day Fiancé essentially is an unscripted one, but it's a little bit different because they find quote unquote actual couples and one person of the two is an American and they're in the United States, and then the other person is from a different country. And so the reason it's called 90 Day Fiancé is because during the K-1 visa process, like they get married or they want to bring that person to the United States. So that person can come for 90 days and they have 90 days to get married. And if they get married, that person can stay in the US and they live happily ever after, or do they? But that's like the premise of the show. It's like you follow these couples for 90 days and see if they're going to end up together. And they usually have like 5 or 6 that you follow. So you like go in between that. And they have so many spinoffs. I wrote them all down. I'm going to run through them super quickly because they're just like
I didn't realize how many there were.
No, I didn't either. I didn't even know some of these existed. They're on Discovery Plus, I think. But
there's only like 2.
Yeah. There's Happily Ever After. That's the one that just finished. I love this one because there's like family drama involved. But then there's What Now? Before the 90 Days. Pillow Talk, which is like other couples reacting to the current season of whatever's going on. The Other Way, which is like an American going to another country. The Family Chantel, Darcy and Stacey, which are like spin-offs of people that were
I love that one.
Yeah.
I love those girls.
Yeah. It was people that were on 90 Day Fiancé and people loved that family and those characters. There's people so much that they like give them their own spin-off, like just about their life. Just Landed, Self-Quarantine, which was during COVID. It was like vlog style. B90 Strikes Back, Happily Ever After Strikes Back, The Other Way Strikes Back. These are people replying to like social media, like tweets and stuff about them. There's 90 Day Bears All, 90 Day Diaries, 90 Day Journey, The Single Life, which is like, because not a lot of the couples last. So it's like these same people like finding love again or whatever. Then there's the Love Games and Foodie Call, which are new for Discovery Plus. So Foodie Call is so weird because it's like these couples cooking. It's like a cooking show with 90 Day Fiancé couples, but they're cooking like traditional foods from like where they're from and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's like interesting. They have everything. They literally have a little bit of everything. And so I wanted to talk about this one because it's like
Love Games.
Love Games is like a game show with the couples. It's like the couples tag and like that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh, they are milking this cow.
They're cashing in. And they don't even give you a break. Happily Ever After just ended. The Single Life and The Other Way starts next week.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like one after the other. And so the reason I wanted to talk about this one is because obviously race is going to play into this because it's built into the premise of the show. Mm-hmm. So there's people from other countries coming to the United States, and that's already a huge culture shock to these people. But not only that, when the Americans go to these other countries, the Americans aren't always like there's like the white American, there's like the black Americans, like there's all kinds of different Americans that go to these countries, and now they're facing racism in other countries and like how other cultures react to people that
I like that part of it.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm so conflicted about it, is because I do think that they don't try to like, because like it's not like they just paint like the people of color in a bad light. They paint everyone in a bad light. So like, for example, the person I wanted to bring up, her name is Angela Dean. She honestly scares me a little bit, but she is a white woman, and she's like on the recent seasons, and she is not okay, number one, but she completely fetishizes her husband. So her husband is a black man. This woman literally is completely fetishizing him. Like she got she had like a surgery done. Her doctor was black, and she was like, "Oh, he looks like Michael," and she was like flirting with him. And so
she took that money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm looking at a picture right now. She got some work done.
Yeah, she did. She got a lot of surgery. It's like part of the show, but like they paint all of them in a bad light, which like kind of sucks. But like, I don't know. It's so conflicting because again, like, I don't know. It's just there's so much going on. There's so many layers to it.
I'm the Ariana Grande ponytail that she does.
They did. That was the most recent episode. She like did like a weight loss surgery. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it. Like, even just not as people, like if you watch this, I don't know if you watch the show, but like from an outsider perspective, what the potential problems could be with this premise. Because there's times where I watch it and I'm like, oh my God, these people are being so racist to their significant other. Like like they will go to like the American will go to the other country and be like, you shower with a bucket, and like they're saying all this kind of stuff, and I'm just like,
yeah, I think that one. I mean, I remember the one that popped off during quarantine was like Big Ed and Rose, and because Rose is Filipino, and like I was like really interested to see him go there, because a lot of people I feel like don't know how actual Filipinos live day to day, and the way Rose lives is extremely accurate to how most of the population in the Philippines lives, and the way he was reacting to it. I mean, I understand like it is shocking to like see it, especially like he's like a kind of successful guy that he has a house in Sing or something. I don't know, but he's a dick in general, and
he's awful.
He's literally the worst, and I hate that they keep on giving him a platform.
Yeah.
And I get like that it's shocking, and I do like that they're showing people how people live, but what are they doing about it? Do they make donations to like I get like the person on the show reaps the benefit, and like now Rose has been able to like move her family out of those living conditions, and I love that for her, but like what are they doing? Like, are they harming the country more than they're helping it by showing them in that light? Like, are they gonna help anybody else besides the one person in the show, or are they just using it to have content to show shocking, quote unquote, living situations and stuff? So it's just like,
it's like a double-edged sword.
All reality TV is double-edged swords.
Just to hop in on that, to like piggyback, I would say it's just a double-edged sword, because I think, especially with this premise, if you're not just dealing with different races, different nationalities, so that's different cultures, it's going to be a culture class. And I think if it's kind of interesting, because if you're gonna date outside X, Y, and Z, you need to, I think, be prepared for that and understand what you're going to get into. But at the same time, I don't know if it's really a good thing to kind of witness such a negative clash all the time, especially when it's disrespectful, it's microaggressive heavy. It's like, that's not good either. So it's, on one end, it's like, if maybe people were interested in wanting to explore their options more internationally, they can and see what's out there. But is that the most accurate and only visuals are showing?
Yeah.
It's like extremely surface level.
Yeah, because like, okay, so there was another part of the show where it's like, so it was this couple, it was a white woman from America and this guy from Moldova, so he's from Russia. And they wanted to have two weddings, one in the US, one in Russia. And so when they're having the Russian wedding, the guy brings his wife's like family over. And so the guy's like mom like makes them like traditional Russian food, like makes them all this kind of stuff. And the American family completely trashes it. They're like, I'm not gonna eat this. This is disgusting. Like this is so gross. And it's like
there's such a more respectful way to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think
just
that's part of the problem with
trying-
Americans as a culture. They're so unwilling to like experience other people's ways of living. So absolutely. And immediately, if it's not like how the Americans are living, then it's wrong. And they're just so, I don't know.
Which I get is why this show is so successful, but I just like what I'm saying, like the surface level. I wish they show, like they do it every once in a while, but I don't think it happens enough where they have deeper, more meaningful conversations about like their cultures and how they do clash. And like, I feel like they always like give us like maybe a minute and then they completely ruin it.
Yeah, I think it's mostly during like the tell-all. So like at the end of each season, they like get all the couples together and they do like a little like a lot of reality shows do this where it's like all of them sitting, there's a host and they talk about things. That I think is the best opportunity for them, and they do it sometimes, but then a lot of the times they just go to the like, your mom hates your wife, let's bring her on and they can fight. Like that's what they do most of the time. When I think if they actually had conversations about like, well, why were you saying these kind of things? Like what made you think that? Like, what do you think about people living like this, and why do you think it's wrong when like they have nothing?
Like truly unpack it. Maybe they could add another show where it's like kind of like a Dr. Drew type of show where they talk to a therapist and like really.
So yeah, don't give them ideas because they.
Run my check. Run my check. That'd be so good, and like they could have like
all the couples need it. Trust me, I'm gonna tell you right now, they definitely need it.
If they did do that, they need to get Judge Lynn Toller. Love her. She gives some great advice. Whoever you are.
So. Definitely need advice. That's like what because none of them give them advice, and no one's willing to tell them what's going on. Like the host of the like tell all, she just kind of like eggs things on, and I'm like, please.
The people that like host these reunions don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No
clue. They're always just like.
So sorry to Miss Shauna, but I just think like she like wants to egg things on. Anyway, that's pretty much all we have to say about 90 Day Fiancé. Like it's just again, it's a double-edged sword. It's like we do get to see other cultures and stuff, and I do like that it's way more diverse than some of these other reality shows. That you see people of all cultures, all races, all ethnicities, all body types, all sexualities. Like you see a little bit of everything.
There's so much good, but they're not doing what they need to be doing with it.
Exactly. There we go. That was a pretty good conclusion. And then the last one we have is the Real Housewives franchise. So this one is actually on Bravo.
Do you want to take the lead on it?
Yeah, I can hop in just a bit. Like, I know it started in 2006 with, it was Orange County. And then because of that, it just blew up. And if you're not familiar with the Housewives, you've definitely seen a meme of someone of them, anything, gifts, all of it. It just follows affluent housewives of more than likely athletes or some type of successful business, someone, and they just live their lives. And they usually get into fake fights and just drama within each other, and they go on vacations. Yeah. And that's really all they do. That's all they do. But it's one of the most popular like franchises out there for reality TV. Like everyone watches some type of iteration of it. I think personally for me, I think the most popular one though is probably Atlanta. I think Atlanta has the most, left its foot throughout the 2000s amongst them all. And some would argue maybe like Orange County does too, or New York, but Atlanta. And I was just going to say, my thing though is like watching these reality ones, they profit so much though, especially the Black-led ones with Atlanta and Potomac. They profit so much off of the like racist stereotypes, especially with Black women. And as much as I love seeing Black women do their thing, being luxurious, being all that, they also, to me, have a responsibility of, like, what else you're representing. Especially because it is, to a degree, scripted, but you're co-signing on that. And I just don't know how I feel about them kind of being okay with representing themselves and us like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting, like, with just the built-in premise of the show. Like, there's...
Can I ask why everybody thinks it's popular? Like, why do you think it has this many spin-offs, and why it's like literally the mainstay of Bravo? Like they're keeping Bravo alive.
Yeah.
I just think some like regular Americans love to see kind of like a peek into like, I think like the elite and to see them kind of be somewhat normal or just act out, it just kind of it brings them down to our level to a degree. And I just think just something about, I don't know, it's just, then also it's, I think, addicting to watch them kind of just act out to, I don't know. I think that's something about it. It just, I personally, for me, I wasn't a big Housewife watcher. I'm kind of not to a degree, but like even when I was watching it, because I was doing a paper about this, I was like surprised that I was like cooked. It's addicting. You're just like, I can't believe they're like this. They can't be like this. They can't just do all these things. But you keep watching. There's something addicting about it.
It's so weird because I think all reality TV is like that. Like I know sometimes like I'll turn on the TV, the Kardashians will be on. I'm like, let me watch it for like 2 seconds. 5 hours later, I watched like 6 hours of them doing literally nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I got there. And so yeah, I think with like the Real Housewives, it's like, why? Like, of course, it's fun to watch like a bunch of rich women
champagne problems.
Yeah, like fight about these things that aren't like really that deep. Every now and then you see like a famous like athlete or something like pop in for a second, like a little celebrity cameo. Like they're going to these fun events. It's just like entertaining to see how they live. And you're like, well, I'm not rich, but at least I'm not like that. And like that's kind of what it is essentially. It's like, I don't know. It's just weird. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think what you guys said as well. And I think, yeah, the champagne problems aspect of it, and like seeing also like because of like the different cities and stuff, there's different stereotypes that they lean into on the city itself. And I feel like that's interesting. And also just like because what was a really popular show? Desperate Housewives.
Oh yeah.
I feel like because Desperate Housewives was so popular, people are like, okay, what do actual like also like rich people housewives? And like it's like a collaboration of that, and then like people like Pamela Anderson and where's the Pamela Anderson? The one that like younger women dating older men for money. Because I feel like there's not all the housewives are like that, but a lot of them are like, not a lot, but I don't know how many because I don't really watch it. But like there are quite a few housewives that have like significantly older husbands and stuff like that. So I think that's just another interesting part of it. Like, are they actually in it for love, or like are they just doing it for the money?
Right.
Kennedy, you did write that like, so like two of the spinoffs of Real Housewives, there's Real Housewives of Atlanta and Real Housewives of Potomac. So what do you think the biggest like differences are between those two? And then do you think either of these, because these both have predominantly Black casts, do you think either of them does a better job, or do you think they're both like have their faults?
You know, I think they both have their faults. I will say Atlanta, it does, Atlanta, Hot Atlanta, that's its nickname. Like that's a predominantly like Black city for the most part. So it does, pride itself with being Black excellence. That's their kind of go-to. They are Black excellence, top of the cream, and they're supporting the, what other Black Americans have, and like, being proud of that roots. And they're really big, I think, about their social status and all that. Versus with Potomac, which I found interesting with Potomac. Potomac, if you didn't know, is actually a small, rich, old community, old money, right outside DC. And to me, they are very big about class. Like, they don't care if you're new money. You're trash to them. Like, it's about your old money. And what I found interesting with watching them, mind you, I only watched the first, like, I think season and a couple other episodes and random seasons, but I found it kind of anti-Black in a way, just because one of the women on that show, I forget her name, she grew up there, then she moved out and lived in Baltimore for a bit, got divorced and came back. She's the only one who doesn't act uptight, elitist, and yet they look down on her a bit. They talk down on her a little bit, like, why are you acting like that? And it's like, I don't know, I just find it kind of an issue with them kind of trying to act like they're not Black, or like, just because you have money, just because you might be lighter skinned, like those, don't forget where you came from. And that's why my issue is with Potomac. And versus with Atlanta, they try to be classy, but that's in them still. It pops out, like Nene Leakes, you see it. Like, that's just what it is. And that's the I noticed the big difference is like they're really big about, I think, the class and the elitism value with Potomac, versus Atlanta is much more, I think, more about like excellence. It's like not too much elitist, but it is a bit more like rich people problems.
That's really interesting. I just think, and do we know how many Real Housewives spinoffs there are? Because there's like,
they have like Vanderpump Rules and stuff like that. I don't think they have too many spinoffs, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I think they just keep on popping in different cities.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think they don't last too. Like, I think I read something about like maybe Candy Burris, who's on Atlanta. She might have had some, but I don't think they like get too much viewership like that.
That's really interesting. I mean, it's a pretty great premise. It's like built-in drama. Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, I think the only really successful one is Vanderpump Rules, and
I didn't even know that one was
like that.
a spinoff.
I didn't even know either.
Something I also want to bring up is they only had their first Asian American housewife on the whole show this year.
And which one?
She's on Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay.
And I remember a clip going around. It's like in Beverly Hills, I think there was only one black housewife, but I'm not sure if she's still on it anymore. But everyone else is white. And I remember, I think the clip was about, so I think they were like having a conversation about it or something like that. Or they were just having a conversation and then the like Asian people got brought up and they were just being really out of pocket about it. And then she just felt she was the odd one out. She was the only one that could like defend herself. I remember seeing something like that. It was just like a really awful conversation. And I also think that's crazy that she's the first one.
Yeah.
In 2021.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. And because like there's not, this article literally came out in May. So like there's not like a whole bunch on her storyline. But I just thought that was like interesting to mention. Yeah. Especially in Beverly Hills. I feel like that's a different breed because a lot of the housewives in Beverly Hills a lot of them are entertainment based.
Yeah.
So like it's like another level of like celebrity attached to it. So yeah, there's not much to say. I don't really know much about it. I just remember that being a thing.
Well, I think like something we saw with like all like just to wrap things up, something we saw from like all of these franchises is that like it really comes down to having like people behind the scenes that are not white. Because at the end of the day, if the white people are the only ones calling the shots, they're gonna lean into their like biases that are built into them because of our society. And like when it comes to The Bachelor, when it comes to 90 Day Fiance, like Real Housewives, like whatever it is, like we need to have people behind the scenes that look like the people in front of the camera. Otherwise, we're not going to be telling truthful stories. And we're going to go back to these stereotypes that are literally like, they're harmful to the show and they're harmful to everyone watching them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. I think reality TV is kind of becoming more aware of what's going on. I think we have such a long way to go. But I think like you said with the CBS, like the initiative that they're taking, I think it's a step up a little bit, just a slight little step up. But it's like we're getting there.
The way that they're going to be able to change it is from behind the scenes and at all levels higher, like casting executive positions need to have more people of color in them all around. And also like especially because casting is like the main root of reality TV, because they're the ones picking the literal characters on it, and then beyond casting, like having producers, because usually on reality TV shows, like, each person kind of has like a producer that's theirs, and like allowing the person to feel more comfortable just innately, like if they have someone that looks like them, they're gonna like be more willing to open up for them. But also like understanding like producers need to have the best interest of that person at the end of the day. Like yes, you're there to create a show, but you are dealing with a real human being whose real life is attached to the show. So maybe there needs to be more training involved. Maybe there just needs to be like a reflection of the editing and how the show is formatted. I don't know. But things need to change faster.
Yeah, I completely agree. hopefully they'll get better because like
Mhm.
people love reality TV. Reality TV is not going away anytime soon. If anything, it's getting bigger. It
Mhm.
literally just gets bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah.
And
keep having conversations about it if you are like a fan of reality TV. Keep having conversations so like because especially reality TV, they heavily rely on social media to understand how people are directly reacting to what's going on. So keeping conversations about it and having your hot takes on that, and also I forget the other thing I was gonna say.
Just like just keep educating yourself and recognize like any patterns and also what that could mean and like how we don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is educating yourself, and don't expect people of color to educate for you. If you really want to be a part of it, if you really want to be that ally, educate yourself out there about why this is an issue, why that's wrong, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. And like be a conscious viewer, like understand what you're watching and like just take things with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, we don't really know what real life is like to these people. We are watching like it says unscripted, but it is very much fully produced. And we don't really know what's going on. So I think as long as people are aware of that, I think, we'll start getting better things out of our reality television, because it's everyone's guilty pleasure.
Honestly, it goes beyond reality TV too. We need more representation on every entertainment avenue.
Yeah.
So
anyways, that is all for this week's episode. Thank you, Kennedy, so much for coming on today. Where can people find you in any of your future work, if you want to plug any social media?
You can follow me on my Instagram. It's, just JUST_KENNEDAEE. Just Kennedy. I spelled it differently though. Hopefully I'll be able to create some stuff soon, but I'm like kind of the moment TBD. But follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, everyone's like, because of the pandemic, everyone's like, well, I'm like, so what projects, guys? And everyone's like, we literally can't do anything right now. And I'm like, I literally completely get it. But yeah, and then all of this information will also be on our at our.hollywood. We put our guest spotlights on there. So if you want to find Kennedy, you can find all her information on our Instagram. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week, and stay safe.